Silence is more powerful than words. When you go quiet, she doesn't just see it, she feels it deeply. And here's the hard truth. When you stop talking, that's when she starts thinking the hardest. Welcome back to The Manipulated Mind. Today, I'm explaining exactly what happens inside her mind when you go silent. If you've ever asked what she secretly thinks when you don't call, don't text, and don't chase, this video will show you the truth. Keep watching till the end because once you understand this, you'll never ask for attention again. 1. Her ego starts talking to her first. When you go silent, the first thing that gets hurt isn't her heart, it's her ego. Look, women live in a world where attention is a never-ending background noise. Messages, likes, stares, compliments, it's all there. For most women, attention is so normal that it feels like oxygen. They don't even see it until it stops. And when you, the man who used to be a part of that noise, suddenly step back, the silence doesn't just feel odd, it feels insulting. Her ego begins the conversation before her feelings even join in. Why hasn't he called me? Did he forget me? Or worse, does he not want me anymore? At first, she'll try to ignore it. She'll convince herself she's too important to worry. She'll laugh it away with her friends, pretend it doesn't count, maybe even post something online to show she's living her greatest life. But inside, that question starts bothering her. Why him? Why is he the only one not giving me what I'm used to? Here's where silence becomes more powerful than words. Because the ego hates being ignored more than the heart hates being hurt. She can deal with rejection if it's loud, clear, and obvious. But silence? Silence makes her question. Silence creates room for her mind to run wild. And in that room, her ego starts slipping. This is why silence is such a strong move. It doesn't just make her curious. It shakes her pride. It flips the script. Suddenly, she's not the queen sitting on her throne watching men fight for her attention. Suddenly, she feels like one of the crowd, waiting, guessing, doubting. That change shakes her confidence. And it's important to understand when her ego is hurt, she won't show it right away. She'll act cold, she'll act distant, she'll maybe even try to make you jealous. But all of that is a cover to hide what's really happening inside. And what's happening is this. She's thinking about you more than she would like to. Most men never reach this point because they never go silent. They give in to the urge to chase, to call, to text, to explain themselves. But if you stay strong, if you let her ego suffer in the quiet, you'll see something powerful. Your silence is not weakness, it's control. And the moment her ego starts questioning itself, that's when the chase starts without a sound. Please watch this video all the way to the end to get the full understanding. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.
2. She checks your patience. When you go silent, don't think she'll right away run back into your arms. Women are made differently. The first thought is often not, I miss him, but rather, let me see how long he can stay quiet. It's a test whether she knows it or not. Think of it this way. Silence triggers an alarm in her mind. At first, it's ego. Then, once she sees you haven't broken the silence, she flips the script. If I wait this out, he'll give up. He'll be the one coming back. She wants to test your strength because at her core, every woman wants to know what kind of man she's with. Is he the type who breaks under pressure or the type who can stay strong in the storm? So she'll play small games. She might hold back her replies on purpose. She might ignore your social media views. She might post things online that she knows will grab your attention, like a night out, a new dress, or even a picture with another guy. All of this isn't by chance. It's a silent test to see if you'll lose your composure. Most men fail here. They can't take the waiting. They see her post, they get scared, and they rush back with a long, heartfelt text. They express their feelings, trying to fix things, when in reality, they've just given her all the power back. She smiles to herself because now she knows you were never really silent. You were just waiting for her to notice. And the moment she held firm, you gave in. But here's where the true power lies. If you don't give in, if you stay solid, her tests begin to fail. The more she tries to get a reaction and doesn't get one, the more worried she feels. She starts asking herself, wait, why isn't this working on him? Every other guy would have broken by now. Why is he different? And that's the moment the test changes. What began as her trying to check your strength turns into her realizing you actually have it. Silence only works if you keep it long enough for her to feel it. If you respond too soon, you show weakness. But if you stay calm, you succeed in the test without saying a word. This stage is uncomfortable, for sure. Your pride will yell at you to speak up. But real strength is calm. Real power is patience. When you show her that, you go from being just another man in her messages to being the man she can't stop thinking about. Make sure you watch until the very end to learn everything. Remember to subscribe, like, and share this video.
3. Curiosity becomes obsession. Here's the psychology no one discusses. Silence creates a vacuum, and the human brain does not like vacuums. When there's no information, the mind puts imagination in the space, and imagination is always stronger than reality. At first, she's just curious. Why hasn't he texted? What's he doing? That's usual. But the longer the silence continues, the more risky it becomes for her, because curiosity increases when there's no closure. And soon it doesn't remain curiosity. It turns into obsession. Imagine this. She's lying in bed at night looking on her phone. Normally, she would fall asleep to your goodnight texts or casual conversations. But now, there's nothing. Her mind won't be quiet. Is he with someone else? Is he really done with me? Has he forgotten me? The more questions she asks, the more uneasy she gets. That's the power of silence. It makes you the main character of her imagination. And unlike reality, imagination is perfect. In her head, you're stronger, more mysterious, more interesting than you ever seemed when you were always there. Your silence makes her build a version of you in her mind that she can't get away from. And here's something most men don't know. Women don't miss men, they miss how men make them feel. When you go silent, she starts wanting that feeling again. She remembers your jokes, your voice, the little things that made you different. But because you're not around, those memories get bigger. Your absence becomes more important than your presence ever was. Now, the problem for her is that obsession doesn't come with control. She might check your social media 20 times a day. She might watch your followers. She might even ask common friends about you, all while acting like she doesn't care. That's the contradiction. Silence forces her to care more while showing it less. And the best part? You don't have to do anything. The obsession builds not because you did something, but because you stopped doing anything. That's what most men never get. Attention feels good, but absence is unforgettable. The key is to let her stay in that space. Don't break the silence. Don't give her the answers she's looking for, because the more she doesn't know, the more she wants to discover. And that's how silence turns curiosity into obsession. 4. She repeats past moments in her head. When you go silent, her brain doesn't just rest. It goes into rewind mode. She starts watching again every moment she ever shared with you, like a movie she can't stop watching. And the reason is easy. Silence forces her to use memory instead of new experiences. Consider it. When you were available, always texting, always calling, she didn't have time to sit and think about the past. The present was always there, loud and constant. But now there's only quiet. And in that quiet, her mind starts searching for what's missing, you. At first, it's small things. She remembers your laugh, the way you looked at her, the little habits she found irritating but secretly missed. Then it grows more serious. She starts replaying whole conversations. Why did he say that to me? Was he suggesting something? Did I get him wrong? Every word gets examined, every detail becomes important. This is where silence shows its true power. Because in your absence, you become bigger in her mind. You take up more thinking space than you ever did when you were around. You go from being just a guy she talked to being the voice repeating in her head. To get all the insights, you must watch this video to the complete end. Please subscribe, like, and share this video now.
And here's something crucial. The past always feels more romantic than the present. Nostalgia has a way of softening memories. Fights don't feel as bad in hindsight. Good moments feel better than they really were. So when she replays the past, you suddenly become the best version of yourself in her mind. This is why silence works better than begging. When you chase her, she sees the present and the present looks desperate. But when you stay silent, she sees the past, and the past looks perfect. You win not by saying anything, but by letting her own memories do the talking. And don't underestimate how far this can go. A song you once played, a place you once took her, even a random phrase you used to say, it all comes back to her in your silence. Suddenly, everyday things remind her of you. She'll be walking in a store, hear a song, and boom, there you are in her head again. That's why silence is dangerous for her and powerful for you. You're no longer fighting for her attention. You're living rent-free in her memory. And the longer she replays those past moments, the more she realizes one thing. She doesn't want those memories to stay in the past. 5. She starts comparing you to other men. Silence doesn't just make her think about you, it makes her notice other men. And that's exactly where you win without even trying. See, when you're quiet, you stand out. Most men aren't silent. They're desperate for her attention. They're texting, double texting, reacting to every post, liking every picture. They're chasing like their life depends on it. And in that chaos, you being the only one not chasing suddenly become the rare one. Here's the psychology. Humans don't notice what's normal, they notice what's different. If every man is giving her attention, your silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. You're no longer part of the crowd, you're the exception, and exceptions create curiosity. So she starts comparing. Why does he not need me like the rest do? Why is he calm while everyone else is desperate? What does he have that they don't? That comparison shifts the power dynamic completely because now you're not competing for her, she's competing in her head to figure you out. And it doesn't stop there. When she sees how other men behave, your silence makes them look weaker. Every text she gets from some guy trying too hard only reminds her of you, the one who doesn't try at all. And that's when your value skyrockets. Think of it this way. Attention is cheap because it's everywhere. Silence is expensive because it's rare. The man who gives nothing becomes more valuable than the men who give everything. And deep down, women crave what they can't easily have. Now let's be real. She won't admit this out loud. She might even act like she doesn't care, but the comparison happens automatically. It's human nature. She can't stop it. The more she sees others give her what she's used to, the more she realizes that you, by giving nothing, are the ones she wants the most. And here's the beauty. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to compete. Your silence is enough. Every other man is doing the work for you by making you look stronger in comparison. That's why silence is so powerful. It doesn't just affect her, it exposes everyone else around her. At some point, she'll look at all the messages on her phone, all the guys trying to get her attention, and then she'll think of you, the one who isn't there. And that thought alone will make her miss you more than all the attention combined. 6. She questions her own value. Here's where silence cuts the deepest. At first, it was her ego, then it was curiosity, but as time goes on, silence makes her question something she doesn't want to admit, her own value. Think about it. Most women are used to being the prize in every room. They walk in and men notice. They post a picture and likes flood in. They send a text and men reply instantly. That constant validation builds a sense of power. She feels wanted, important, above the chase. But when you, someone she actually had attention from, suddenly goes silent, that illusion starts cracking. Her thoughts turn inward. Am I not good enough for him? Did I lose my charm? Maybe he's found someone better. These questions sting because they touch her biggest fear, being replaceable.
And your silence highlights that fear in a way words never could. Now here's the trick most men miss. Women don't lose sleep over men they adore. They lose sleep over men they don't. Your silence makes her realize she's not guaranteed your attention anymore. And the human mind always values what feels scarce. When attention becomes uncertain, it becomes valuable. She may try to mask it. She might post more selfies, fish for compliments, or suddenly act more active online. But those are just signals that she's trying to fill the void your silence created. She's not questioning whether other men like her. She already knows they do. She's questioning whether you do. And that's the question that keeps her awake at night. This stage is where women often reach out indirectly. Maybe she replies to an old story, sends you a random message, or asks about something meaningless. It's not because she suddenly remembered. It's because she needs reassurance. She needs to know she still matters in your world. And here's where you must stay calm. If you rush in and shower her with validation, you kill the power of your silence. But if you hold steady, let her sit in that doubt, she begins to chase, not just for attention in general, but for attention specifically from you. Your silence makes her turn the mirror on herself. And once she starts questioning her own value in your eyes, the balance of power shifts. You're no longer the one proving yourself. She is. 7. Respect replaces resistance. At the end of the silent cycle, something powerful happens. What started as ego, curiosity, and even frustration slowly transforms into respect. And respect is the foundation of lasting attraction. In the beginning, she might resist your silence. She might think, I'll show him, he'll come back. She may even double down, ignore you back, or try to trigger a reaction. But when you don't bend, when you stay unbothered, her resistance begins to collapse. She realizes something that most men never show her: discipline. It takes discipline to stay silent when you want to speak. It takes strength to remain calm when your emotions scream at you to react. And women respect strength more than sweet words, more than gifts, more than begging. Your silence communicates a message louder than any text could. I'm not controlled by you. I'm not desperate. I'm not waiting on your approval to feel whole. That level of self-control is rare, and rarity commands respect. And here's the twist. Respect is what creates real desire. Attraction without respect is shallow. It fades as soon as something shiny comes along. But respect makes her see you differently. You're no longer just another man trying to win her over. You're the man who doesn't fold. You're the man she can't easily influence. And that makes you the man she secretly craves. When resistance turns to respect, her energy shifts. She no longer tests you to break you. She tests you to see how strong you truly are. And each time you remain solid, her respect deepens. That's when she begins to chase not just for attention, but for your approval. Because deep down, every woman wants to know she's captured the respect of the man she admires. The irony is this: silence doesn't just get her attention, it gets her respect. And once respect enters the picture, attraction becomes inevitable. You don't have to shout, you don't have to prove anything, you don't even have to explain yourself. Your silence already did the talking. And here's the final truth. Words can be doubted, actions can be faked, but silence is undeniable. She might question your texts, she might doubt your promises, but she can't ignore the strength it takes to stay quiet. That's why at the end of it all, her resistance fades and is replaced by something far more powerful: respect. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's not about ignoring her to hurt her. It's about showing that you value yourself enough to not beg for attention. When you master the art of silence, she doesn't just think about you, she respects you. If this video hit you, drop a comment saying, "I choose silence." Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more relationship psychology revealed.